Croeso will power up to the end of year deals and games under £20 PSN sales. This is a much better sale than Black Friday. I hate to say I told you so, but I kinda did. There's a huge amount of games in this sale and a load of them are on really good discounts. And I've gone through and I found the best games for you to try out, and you can save a lot of money as well. So don't forget to subscribe if you like finding some cool new games to play and saving a lot of money along the way. You're welcome here anytime. This sale ends on the 20th of December, so that'll be your last day to pick up these deals. Let's look at the games. First up, we have Ace Combat 7, Skies Unknown, Top Gun Maverick Ultimate Edition. It was released in 2019, so it's 4 years old, and it's on an 86% discount for the price of $15.29, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, in this bundle anyway, and a really good deal considering it includes a ton of extra content, including the Maverick movie aircraft set, and the season pass that includes 3 DLC missions, 3 extra planes, bonus content, and the F-104C Avril aircraft as well, so you do get quite a lot for your money, especially the 3 DLC missions, that's actual content, which is great. In this fighter plane game, you get to become an ace pilot in photorealistic sorties, including aircraft combat, bombing runs, aircraft versus ship combat, and massive air fortress battles in the newest game from the best fighter plane series ever made. And I'm not kidding, you don't have a lot of options when it comes to fighter plane games in general, but this series has been around forever, like since the PS1 days, and it's legendary, and that's for a very good reason. It's the best fighter plane series around. Anyway, this game even includes a VR mode, with some VR missions to play as well, so if you want to live out those Top Gun fantasies in VR, this is the best place for you. The experience alone will be really good. If you've got a PSVR 1 headset, you'll love it. It's just a shame not the whole game's playable in VR. But outside of that, you're getting the newest version of the best fighter plane game series around, so if you're into fighter plane games and you haven't played the newest Ace Combat, this is a good chance to pick it up. So if you like the sound of that, definitely take a look at it. I'm sure you'll love the game. And hey, if you've never played a fighter game before, then I'm not sure I'd recommend starting with this one. It's quite pricey, even though it comes with a lot of content, so if you're not sure, you're paying quite a bit of money for it. I'd recommend starting elsewhere with the cheaper indie one instead. So subscribe, and then you won't miss out when they come on sale next. Next up is a tower defense game, Aegis of Earth Proto-Novus Assault. It was released in 2016, so it's 7 years old, and it's on a 90% discount for the low price of £1.59, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really good price for such a unique tower defense game. In this game you get to defend the last bastion of humanity against an unending onslaught of monster attacks by collecting resources to research and build new units and upgrades to your city. It features unlockable commanders with unique abilities to help your city, which keeps the gameplay varied as you swap between them for different effects and ways to play the game. I like tower defense games, I think they're really enjoyable, and if you're the sort of player that they hook you into, you might want to check this out. It may not be the biggest game around, but it's different and unique, and it offers something different to keep the genre fresh. So if you're a fan of tower defense games, and you've played a load of them and you want something a little bit different, then why not take a look at this? At this price, you can't go far wrong. And hey, if you've never played a tower defense game before, then I would definitely recommend them, but maybe not this one. It's a really good price, but it is a bit different, and it's not typical of the genre. So if you play it and don't like it, it's not really giving you the best idea of what the games are like. But if you like the look of it, definitely check it out at this price. But if not, I would definitely recommend starting with a different tower defense game instead, something a bit more normal. So subscribe, and then I'll let you know when they're on sale next. We have a VR game next, Along Together. It was released in 2018, so it's 5 years old, and it's on a 75% discount for the low price of £2.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really good price for a VR game especially. Now this VR puzzle platformer has no move controller support, so you don't need them, and you can play it with anything, which is great. In this VR game you get to play as a young girl's imaginary friend, helping her explore different worlds in search of her missing dog Rishu, and interacting with her environment by moving, grabbing, shooting, and more to help her along her journey. If this was just a platformer, it would be very simple and I probably wouldn't recommend it that much, but games like this in VR are pretty fun, as you get to interact with the world and enjoy your journey along with a VR friend. It looks like it's got a fun sense of humour, and the level design looks quite good and interesting for such a cheap game. So if you're looking for a little adventure to play in VR, you might want to check this out, especially if you've already played games like Moss and that sort of thing, and you're looking for another similar game. You'll enjoy this one, I think, so check it out if you like the sound of it. And hey, if you've never played a VR game like this before, then I would definitely recommend it. The more AAA versions like Moss and that sort of thing are never on sale this low, so you're not going to get them this cheap, making this a great place to start, and I think you'll enjoy yourself if you're interested. So why not take a look? You might find your new favourite genre. Our next game is Beholder Complete Edition. It was released in 2018, so it's 5 years old, and it's on a 90% discount for the low price of £1.19, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a crazy low price, as this edition includes the Blissful Sleep DLC that adds a whole new scenario as well. So you're getting the complete version of the game, with all of the content included, for a really good price, which is awesome. In this game, you are a government-installed landlord in a totalitarian state, spying on your tenants and their lives to ensure they follow the law, keeping the state happy. But do you report them or do you help them? Your decisions will have consequences, and you don't have to do what the government tells you. You can do what you want instead, but there may be consequences. So why not try it and find out? This game looks really cool, and the story and idea of it I find interesting. For an indie game, it's got a lot of good reviews, and people seem to really enjoy it. So if you like the sound of it as much as I do, you should definitely take a look at it. It looks like a really cool and interesting game, at a really good price, so why not take a look? And hey, if you've never played a game like this before, then I would definitely recommend it. It's very unique and different, and it's very cheap these days as well, so you're not risking a lot of money, and you might find a new game that you really enjoy. So definitely take a look at it if you like the sound of it. And on a side note, the sequel is also on sale for 90% discount, £1.19. So if you want to pick up both, or you've already got the first one, then check that one out as well. We have a fighter next, Blas Blue Chrono Phantasm Extend. It was released in 2015, so it's 8 years old, and it's on a 90% discount for the low price of £1.59, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really good price for such a good franchise. This fighter features an expanded story mode with 6 scenarios and the events from the Remix Heart, the playable characters Celica and Mercury, the reintroduction of Lambda, and a personal hangout for 64 players online multiplayer, although who knows how busy that is these days. There's quite a variety of fighters these days, but Blas Blue is one of the popular ones. It's got a good heritage, and people really enjoy it, and seem to play it quite a lot. So if you like your fighter games, and you've never tried a Blas Blue game before, or maybe this might be your first fighting game, at this price you can't go far wrong. Definitely take a look at it. It looks really good, especially at this price. And hey, if you've never played a fighter game before, then I would recommend starting here. Blas Blue is from a huge franchise that's very popular in the genre, and it's at a really good price as well, so you can't go far wrong really. If you want to try a fighter, definitely take a look at this one. You're definitely getting a lot of quality for your money with this price. Up next is Chorus. It was released in 2021, so it's only 2 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £6.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really good price for such a cool and interesting game. In this fighter-plane game, you get to pilot a sentient starfighter named Forsaken as Nara on a universe-spanning mission of vengeance to destroy the dark cult that created her. It features special ship abilities, weapon and combat upgrades, and titanic space battles to fight big bosses that you'll really enjoy. I'm surprised I haven't heard more about this game, because quite frankly it looks amazing. The story really interests me, and the gameplay looks amazing. The reviews are really good, they say the gameplay's amazing and a lot of fun, and the story is supposed to be really good and emotional. A lot of people seem to really like it, so again I'm surprised it's not a bigger game than more people have heard of. So bottom line, if you like games with good story, and you really like fighter-plane games, this is a different and unique one, and it looks really awesome, so definitely take a look at it. I'm sure it's well worth your time and money. And hey, if you've never played a fighter-plane game before, then you could start here. It may not be the cheapest one, but it's definitely different and unique, and I think it'll be really good to play. So if it intrigues you as much as it does me, why not take a look at it? It might just be worth taking a chance on. Take a look. We have a strategy game next, Mordheim City of the Damned Complete Edition. It was released in 2016, so it's 7 years old, and it's on a 90% discount for the low price of £2.49, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal, as this edition includes 6 additional DLC packs for a ton of extra content, which is really great at this price, especially for the complete version of the game as well, which is really good. This turn-based strategy game is based on the Games Workshop tabletop game, where you play as iconic warbands fighting over the control of Mordheim to take the city back by force, one neighborhood at a time, with skill and magic. This looks like a really good strategy game, and the fact that it's based on the Games Workshop tabletop game is really good, because they've got a ton of history in the subject, and they make really good games, so if they've made a game based on one of them, then that's really good heritage, and it bodes well for the quality of the game. Overall, there's not a lot of turn-based strategy games around these days. There's very few of them, and you don't have many choices in the theme of the game. So if you've been looking for a medieval, magic-based fantasy strategy game, this is probably one of the only ones you can pick up, especially at this price as well. So definitely take a look if you like the sound of that. And hey, if you've never played a turn-based strategy game before, then I would recommend starting here. It's a really good game from a really good franchise, based on a really good board game, and it's at a really good price as well. So you can't go far wrong, really. Pretty much the only reason I'd say not to try this if you're interested is if you don't like fantasy and you want more of a sci-fi or other theme to your game instead. But if that's the case, subscribe and then you won't miss out when those games come on sale next. Up next is Moving Out Deluxe Edition. It was released in 2022, so it's only a year old, and it's on a 75% discount for the price of £6.24, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal, as this edition includes the Movers in Paradise DLC and Employees of the Month pack for 2 extra levels, and a ton of new movers to play as for the complete game experience. In this multiplayer game, you get to start an exciting new career in moving. Control a cast of movers as you attempt to load up your moving van with all the customers' precious belongings. And the game features local player co-op, physics-based gameplay, and lots of humor and fun as well. I mean, in this game, you don't have to be gentle. You can throw stuff out of windows, into the pool, over the road. It doesn't really matter. As long as you get it out of the house and into the truck, then you win. It doesn't matter how you get it there, which is really cool and fun. It's really designed for multiplayer, so if you've got friends to play with or family members, this is a really good game for that. You can have a lot of fun together. So if you like the sound of this and you just want a quirky multiplayer game, definitely take a look at this. It's got overcooked vibes, and that's really good to say. So if you like the look of it, definitely check it out. It's a lot of multiplayer fun. And hey, if you've never played a multiplayer game like this before, then I would recommend starting here. You can get others slightly cheaper, but this is a really good game with a really cool, interesting theme, and it's a lot of fun to play with your mates. So if you like the sound of it, why not take a look? It's really fun, I promise. We have an adventure game next, 9 Witches Family Disruption. It was released in 2020, so it's 3 years old, and it's on at least an 80% discount for the price of £2.99 or £1.49 with PS Plus, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal. This adventure puzzle game is set in 1944 during World War II, where a secret division of the Third Reich arrives in a rustic Norwegian town, and they're set on unleashing an ancient curse, and you get to play as Professor of the Occult Sciences and his assistant, determined to stop them and unravel the mystery behind the whole situation. This looks like a really well-reviewed puzzle adventure. The only thing I would say is, it's got a dark humour, so if that's not your sort of humour, then stay away from it. But if it is, I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun with this game. It's got good reviews, and people seem to really like it. So if you've got a dark sense of humour and a craving for adventure puzzles, then definitely check this out. It looks like a really good game, and a lot of fun as well. And hey, if you've never played an adventure puzzle game before, then I would recommend this one. As long as you've got a dark sense of humour and you're not easily offended, then you'll really enjoy it. It looks like a really good game, with a great story, and some interesting gameplay as well. So if you like the look of it as much as I do, definitely take a look at it. It looks really cool. Otherside is our next game. It was released in 2020, so it's 3 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £4.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal. In this turn-based strategy game, you get to control mankind's last hope, the Daughters. Echoes of the greatest warriors that ever lived, are all who stand against the dread creatures arisen from the worst of humanity's crimes. It features RPG elements and permadeath for your daughters as well, so it keeps the gameplay tense and there's real stakes to losing people. Now, there's not a lot of turn-based strategy games around, and this looks like a really different and interesting one. It's very anime in style and storyline, and it's got a really different and interesting theme to the game. So if you're a big fan of turn-based strategy games and you're looking for something a bit different, then why not take a look at this one? It's really different, really unique, and I think it'll be a lot of fun if you like these sorts of games. So definitely take a look at it. And hey, if you've never played a turn-based strategy game before, then I'm not sure I'd recommend starting here. It's really different and interesting, but it's also very different to most turn-based strategy games as well. So if you're really into the theme, then go for it. But if not, I'd probably recommend starting with another one instead. So if that's the case, subscribe, and then I'll let you know when they're on sale next. Our next game is Prison Architect Total Lockdown Edition. It was released in 2021, so it's 2 years old, but the game's older than that really, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £9.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal, as this edition includes the 5 expansions, Escape Mode, All Day and Night, Psycho Ward, Island Bound, and Going Green. So you're getting the complete version of the game with a massive amount of extra content, which is a really good deal. In this prison management sim, you get to build and manage the ultimate maximum security prison, balancing prisoner needs with profit. Can you contain the worst criminals alive on a budget, or let them run rampant in a gangster's paradise behind closed doors? The choice will be up to yours, and the profit you get from it will be too. I really like strategy and management games like Roller Coaster Tycoon and that sort of thing, and I think whoever decided to make one in a prison is genius. I really like the theme, and I think it's a fun idea for a game. My gut says it's really good, and a lot of people love it. It's got really good reviews, and it's really popular with YouTubers and streamers, which is a good sign for a game that they keep coming back to it. So if you like your management games as much as I do, and you like the idea of this one as much as I do, definitely take a look at it. I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun with it, and you might even find your new favourite management game. And hey, if you've never played a management game before, then I'm not sure I'd recommend starting here. It's not that cheap, and you get a lot of content included as well, which means if you don't enjoy it, you've got a ton of game that you're never going to play, which is just a waste. So don't forget to subscribe, and then I'll let you know when more management games come on sale next. Up next is my star by Shadow Point. It was released in 2022, so it's only a year old, and it's on a 75% discount for the low price of £3.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a fantastic deal for such a high quality VR game. This puzzle adventure requires Move controllers, which is great because it makes this genre way better, and you couldn't play this sort of game without it. In this game, which is narrated by Sir Patrick Stewart, making it a premium experience, you get to embark on an adventure to another realm, investigating the mysterious disappearance of a schoolgirl at an abandoned observatory. It features over 80 puzzles and a full voice cast as well, which is really cool, especially with Sir Patrick Stewart. You can tell they've put a lot of love and money into this game. And the puzzles look amazing. This game's got mega reviews where everybody raves about it. This is a game with puzzles that you just couldn't do in a normal game. They only work in VR, and it makes it perfect. If you've got a PSVR 1 and you like puzzle games, you should definitely check this out. It's a really good premium game at a really good price. Like I said, it's my star buy. It's well worth your time and money, I promise. I'm really tempted to get it myself. And hey, if you've never played a puzzle adventure in VR before, then I would definitely recommend starting here. It's a really good quality, high production one at a really good discount. So if you've been looking to try one, definitely take a look at this. I promise you'll love it. So why not take a look? We have a racing game next, WRC8 Deluxe Edition FIA World Rally Championship. It was released in 2019, so it's 4 years old, and is on a 95% discount for the low price of £2.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a fantastic deal for a game of this quality, as it includes over £10 worth of DLC, including 3 legendary cars as well, so you're getting a really good version of the game, which is good. In this rally game, you get to drive with 50 teams in 14 rallies, with over 100 special stages from the 2019 WRC season, and it even features a rebuilt career mode and a dynamic weather system as well, so you're getting a much better campaign with a much better experience and gameplay with the weather features as well. So if you like racing games and you've never tried a rally game before, or you used to play them and you haven't played one in ages, then definitely take a look at this. It may not be the newest version, but it's a really good one at a really good discount, so if you like the sound of it, why not take a look? I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And hey, if you've never played a rally game before, then I would recommend starting here. It's a really good game at a really low price. You can't go far wrong really, so if you're interested at all, definitely take a look at it. You may even find your new favourite genre. And the final game I have for you is Upgrad. It was released in 2021, so it's 2 years old, and it's on at least a 67% discount for the low price of £4.28 or £3.63 with PS Plus, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal for a really different and unique VR game. This game requires Move controllers, which is good, because without them, this game wouldn't be the same, and it wouldn't be anywhere near as good. This game is a VR platformer, and it's a really wacky game where you get to play as an astronaut who travels around stations in style by swinging around at breakneck speeds. It features a puzzle-based campaign, time attack modes, with online leaderboards as well, and over 50 levels to play, including a free play mode, and more as well. This game's got really good reviews, and the game modes have a lot of variety as well. The campaign is more puzzle and story-based, while the time attack is all about speed and leaderboards, where you get to compete to be the fastest and the best player in the world. So if you really like puzzle-based, unique VR games, or you're interested in time attack mode, where you get to play for the online leaderboard times, There's a lot to look at in this game, especially with 50 levels, and some extra modes and content as well. There's a lot included, and it's really different and unique. My gut says it's a really good game, so if you've got a PSVR 1 and you're looking for a VR game that's really good and a bit different, you should definitely check this out. You won't find another game like this, that's for sure. And hey, if you've never played a VR platformer before, then I'm not sure I'd recommend starting with this one. It's very different and unique, and that's the reason I wouldn't recommend it, as you're probably better off starting with something a bit more mainstream, so you get a better idea of what this genre's like mostly. So don't forget to subscribe, and then you won't miss out when those games go on sale next. And that's all the games I have for the end of year deals and games under £20 PSN sale. Man, I hope Sony stopped changing the sales, because I haven't had a day off in 2 weeks. They keep adding on loads more, and I know it's because they're gearing up for Christmas, where they're going to put on a Christmas sale and then there's not going to be a change for weeks. But hey, I can't wait for that. I want some time to play these games as well, right? Anyway, what did you think of the games I picked? Did I pick good ones or did I pick bad ones? And what about the style buy? Did it deserve it? Or should some other game have got it instead? Leave all your complaints down in the comments, and we can talk about it later. Anyway, I hope you found some games you're interested in, but more importantly, I hope you saved a lot of money. I'll see you guys in the next sale. Au revoir.